You open your eyes to a world you've only seen in books and movies. The salty air of the sea, the distant sound of a horn, warriors clad in iron. This isn't a dream, and it's definitely not your typical Monday. You've just woken up in the Viking Age. How will you survive? What will you do? Hold on to your mead, because today we're diving into a survival guide for the most adventurous time travelers. How to live, thrive, and survive among the Vikings. Welcome to a journey back in time. But before we get moving, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Welcome to Chapter 1, where words are your first weapon and customs your shield. You're in a Viking village, and everyone's speaking Old Norse, a language that sounds like it's forged from the very ice and fire of the north. But fear not. Let's start with the basics. Greetings like hail for hello and bless for goodbye. Now you're not just a stranger, you're someone who speaks their tongue. But speaking is just the beginning. The Vikings have customs that could make or break your stay. For instance, did you know that toasting at a feast isn't just about drinking? It's an honor to the gods, Odin, Thor, and Freya. Spill your drink and you might just offend a deity or two. And when it comes to hospitality, the Vikings take it seriously. If offered a meal, accept it. It's rude to refuse. And always have a gift ready in return. It could be a crafted item, a story, or even a song. This is how you build alliances and friendships. Now, let's talk law. Vikings might seem all about raiding and conquering, but they had a sophisticated legal system. If you ever find yourself at a thing, that's their legal assembly. Remember, it's about honor and justice. Speak the truth, respect the verdict, and you'll earn their respect. Finally, get ready for some fun and bruises. Vikings love games, from chess like Hnefatafl to rough and tumble sports. Joining in is not only about entertainment, it's a way to show your strength and skill. Just remember, it's all in good spirit, so leave your modern competitiveness at home. Chapter 2 is all about Viking fashion. And no, it's not just horned helmets and fur coats. Let's debunk some myths and dive into what you'd really wear if you were living among the Vikings. The key? Layers, functionality, and a touch of personal flair. Your Viking wardrobe starts with linen undergarments. Yes, Vikings valued cleanliness. Then, add a woolen tunic. It's your main garment, both durable and warm. Pair it with trousers. And no, they weren't baggy, but rather fitted. Perfect for those long days at sea or in the fields. For those chilly Nordic winds, a cloak is a must. Fasten it with a brooch. Not just functional, but a status symbol too. In winter, throw on animal skins. And here's a fun fact. Those famous fur-lined cloaks, they were actually a sign of wealth and status. Don't forget your feet. Leather shoes or boots are essential, and in winter, they're lined with fur. Hats and gloves? Absolutely, usually made of wool or animal skin. Remember, in the Viking Age, staying warm wasn't just about comfort, it was about survival. Now, let's accessorize. Vikings loved their bling. Rings, armbands, and especially brooches. Jewelry wasn't just decoration, it showed wealth and allegiance. And those intricate designs? They're not just art, they tell stories of gods, monsters, and heroes. Make sure to subscribe and press the like button to join our community of history enthusiasts. And don't forget to hit the bell icon. In Chapter 3, we're rolling up our sleeves and getting our hands dirty. In Viking society, having a skill wasn't just useful, it was your ticket to respect and success. Let's explore the trades and skills that could make you a sought-after member of a Viking community. Ever fancied being a blacksmith? In the Viking Age, this was one of the most revered professions, crafting weapons and tools. Blacksmiths were essential to both everyday life and the success of raids. The clang of the hammer isn't just noise, it's the sound of survival. If blacksmithing is too hot for you, how about shipbuilding? Viking ships, with their sleek design and dragon-headed prows, were engineering marvels of their time. As a shipbuilder, you wouldn't just be crafting vessels, you'd be building the very heart of Viking exploration and trade. Not into heavy lifting? Textile work was vital too. Weaving, sewing, and dyeing. These skills kept Vikings warm and stylish. Remember those vibrant colors and patterns you'd wear. They didn't make themselves. Textile crafters were the unsung heroes of Viking fashion. And let's not forget the skalds, the storytellers. In a world without Netflix, skalds were the entertainers, historians, and even news reporters. Your ability to weave a tale could make you as popular as the mightiest warrior. After all, who doesn't love a good story by the fire? Welcome to Chapter 4, where we dive into the heart of Viking bravery and strategy. The Viking Age was a time of conflict and conquest, and knowing how to defend yourself was as crucial as knowing how to sail a longship. Let's explore the art of Viking warfare and what it would take for you to stand alongside these legendary warriors. First, the weapons. Swords were a symbol of status. Axes were common and deadly, and spears were the go-to for many. Each weapon required skill and practice. Imagine honing your skills with these weapons, not just for battle, but as a part of daily life. It's about precision, strength, and above all, discipline. But Viking combat wasn't just about individual prowess. The shield wall was their signature tactic, a wall of shields creating an impenetrable barrier. It was about unity and trust. Each warrior protected the one next to them, creating a formidable defense against any enemy. Physical fitness was non-negotiable. Agility, endurance, and strength were key. Training wasn't just about fighting. It was about surviving in harsh landscapes, enduring long voyages, and being ready for anything. Think of it as the ultimate Viking workout. And let's not forget about raids. These were not random acts of violence, but calculated strategies requiring coordination and intelligence. Participating in a raid meant understanding the plan, knowing your role, and being ready to adapt at a moment's notice. In Chapter 5, we're trading our swords for silver and our shields for sheaves. The Vikings, known for their raids, were also astute traders and skilled farmers. Let's delve into the lesser-known side of Viking life, their economy and trade networks, which were as expansive as their voyages. Imagine sailing to distant lands, not just for conquest, but for trade. The Vikings reached as far as the Byzantine Empire and the Caliphate, trading goods like furs, iron, and even honey. Their trade networks were vast, and their merchant skills impressive. In these marketplaces, bargaining was an art, and a good trade could bring as much honor as a successful raid. But let's not forget the backbone of their economy, agriculture. Farming in the harsh Nordic climate was no small feat. It required knowledge of the land, seasons, and hard labor. Your ability to cultivate the land and tend to animals like sheep and cattle was crucial for survival, especially during the long, cold winters. In Chapter 6, we venture into the mystical and sacred, the spiritual world of the Vikings. Far from the barbaric image often portrayed, the Vikings had a rich tapestry of beliefs and rituals that connected them to their gods. The Norse pantheon was colorful and complex. Odin, the All-Father, wise and cunning. Thor, the thunder god, protector of mankind. Freya, the goddess of love and war. These gods and their stories were not just tales. They were guides for living, sources of inspiration, and explanations for the mysteries of life. Viking rituals were as varied as their gods, from the grandeur of the midwinter festival, Yule, to the solemnity of the Blot, a sacrificial ritual to honor the gods and ensure prosperity. Participating in these rituals wasn't just about belief, it was a way to maintain the balance of the world and ensure the community's well-being. Lastly, let's not forget the Vikings' profound respect for nature. They saw the land, the sea, and the sky as realms filled with spirits and meaning. Respecting these elements was not just superstition, it was a way of living in harmony with the world, a belief that every tree, every rock, every wave had a spirit and a purpose. In Chapter 7, we swap our swords for spoons and step into the world of Viking cuisine. The Viking diet was hearty, nourishing, and surprisingly varied. It wasn't just about eating to survive, it was about enjoying the bounties of the land and sea. Meat was a staple, from beef to lamb, and especially game. But let's not forget about fish, a crucial part of the coastal Viking diet. Smoked, dried, or salted. Fish was not just food, it was a skillful art of preservation. Alongside these were hearty bread, rich dairy products like cheese and butter, and a surprising variety of vegetables, from onions and beans to root vegetables like turnips. And what's a feast without a drink? Mead, ale, and even fruit wines were common. Brewing was a respected craft, and these drinks were not just for pleasure but were integral to rituals and celebrations. Raising a horn of mead was to honor the gods, the earth, and the company you were in. In Chapter 8, we hoist the sails, their legendary sea voyages and explorations. The Vikings were not just warriors, they were explorers and navigators, masters of the sea. Their voyages were tales of bravery and discovery. The Viking longship, with its shallow draft and symmetrical design, was perfect for both deep-sea voyages and river navigation. Built to be both sturdy and swift, these ships were the pinnacle of Norse craftsmanship. Imagine being part of a crew, rowing in unison, the ship cutting through waves like a blade through silk. But how did Vikings navigate the vast and treacherous seas? Without modern compasses or GPS, they relied on the sun, the stars, and even migratory patterns of birds. They used landmarks and lore and the color of the ocean to guide them. Navigation was an art form, a dance with nature herself. And let's not forget, Vikings were settlers. They established communities in far-flung lands, adapting to new climates and terrains. Their ability to settle and thrive in places like Iceland and Greenland showcases their resilience and versatility as a people. As we close this chapter of our historical journey, we leave the world of the Vikings with a deeper understanding and appreciation. Their legacy is not just in the artifacts they left behind, but in the lessons they impart. Lessons of courage, innovation, community, and the enduring power of stories. Thank you for joining us on this voyage through the Viking Age. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, share with friends, and smash that like button. Remember, history is alive in all of us, and every day we write our own saga. Until our next adventure, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the past alive in the stories we share.